If you asked me as a child what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would have said happy. Now, in my adult life, I have a different answer. I dive into that difference in this transformational episode. Welcome to the Abundance Hack Show, Season 4, where we are focusing on mastery. The last 3 seasons, I gave you the information. Now, we're focusing on integrating it into our lives and embodying it. If you are ready to master your thoughts, emotions, and patterns to feel whole, fulfilled, and really grounded in who you are without dimming your shine so you can live the abundant life that you truly desire, then you are in the right place. Hey M&Ms, thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. What are you manifesting in your life today? If you are joining me for the first time, first let me say welcome. Although M&Ms are really yummy candies, it actually stands for magical manifestors because we are manifesting by default. And we're manifesting with our energy, our thoughts, our words. And if you're listening to this podcast, I know that you want to manifest a fulfilling, yummy, abundant life. And so that's what we're going to talk about in this episode. If you ask me as a child what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would say happy. And that's a great answer, right? So yay for little Niajae just knowing she wants to be happy. However, with all of the work that I've done now in my adult life, I realize I would shift that word, that state, that's my ultimate goal. I would shift it to being whole. So in this episode, we are going to dive into the difference between being whole and happy. A lot of people's understanding of happiness is without pain, without sorrow, without anguish. So happy feels small or fleeting. Feeling whole to me combines self-awareness, self-acceptance, happiness, joy, and passion with the emotional resilience to handle the pain, grief, and anguish we may feel with unavoidable challenges. So if you look at the Webster Dictionary definition of happy, it's feeling or showing pleasure or contentment, fortunate or convenient. So if things are not convenient, are you not happy? Like, let's just be real. Like, through the pandemic, like, was life convenient during the pandemic? No. But did that mean we weren't happy? So if you attach your ultimate goal to happiness, you're setting yourself up for disappointment or to feel like a failure. So when I'm not happy, when I'm not in a state of pleasure or content, then am I failing at life? These are questions I had to really dive into when I started peeling the layers back of this concept. So if happiness is my ultimate goal and I don't feel happy, then I will feel like a failure and wonder, what am I doing wrong? And I found myself asking these questions in life. And it's these subconscious bars that we set for ourselves that create internal chaos, self-judgment, and self-criticism. So I set this bar in my subconscious because it wasn't even in the forefront of my mind, but it's hidden deep in our subconscious. And whenever I didn't feel that sense of happiness, I'm like, what am I doing with my life? What is life? I found myself saying that often. What is life right now? Because my ultimate goal was happiness, which is such a fleeting feeling or emotion. And so my revision to that question, if you were to ask my inner child what she wants to be when she grows up, my new answer would be whole. So to me, whole is a better goal or even value. I always talk about identifying your top 3 values. So I feel like whole is something that I can intertwine with my values or set that as my ultimate goal is to feel whole. And what that means to me is integrating all of my parts. So my therapist studies IFS, or that's the framework that she practices, IFS, which is internal family systems. So I did a podcast episode on fragmentation. If you haven't listened to it, definitely go check it out because it is a game changer. It will change your life to understand this concept. So fragmentation, Teal Swan also talks about it in her book, The Completion Process. So there's a lot of different names for the same framework or modality, but basically it is the concept that we have these parts that have broken off or that we've hidden or suppressed because life has deemed them to make us unlovable or they're undesirable. So we hide them from sometimes ourselves, but especially from the world. So when I say, like what I've said in previous episodes, get to know yourself on an intimate level, it's getting to know that good, bad, and what society deems as ugly, and integrating all of your parts so you're not suppressing, dismissing, or denying anything. Because when we suppress, dismiss, or deny, it doesn't make it go away. It just sweeps it under the rug. And then usually sweeping it under the rug actually causes illness and physical ailments. And that's a lot of what I'm doing in my sound healing practice, is helping people release those trapped emotions and release the things that they've suppressed and swept under the rug so they can heal and grow and transform. So to me, being whole is integrating all of my parts, the good, the bad, and what society deems as the ugly. And to me, that's having self-awareness. So have you ever met someone that said something like, I'm a positive person, and they're like super negative, or like, I don't judge, and they're super judgmental? It's because they have suppressed that part of themselves to where they don't even see it. They don't even see it because it's something that they feel makes them unlovable. So they don't want to see their unlovable parts. But keeping them hidden, swept under the rug, doesn't make them go away. So it's important that we have that self-awareness. So integrating all of your parts and having self-awareness. So, working with a coach, a healer, or a therapist that can show you your blind spots is so important and life-changing. And then once you see all of your parts, having self-acceptance, being able to say, I love myself unconditionally, even with the good, the bad, and what society deems as the ugly, even with it. And to me, that is the ultimate self-love. Like, you can love yourself, but if you're not looking at the parts that you feel make you unlovable, you only love parts of yourself. So if you can really look at all of your parts and say, I love myself unconditionally, that is the ultimate self-love. And then passion. So I am a super passionate person. And I have so many passions. If you have followed my story or been listening to my podcast over the years, that I have a lot of passions between music and dance and aerials and business and sound healing. I'm a multi-passionate person. And so whatever I'm passionate about at the time, I want to be able to do that. There's so many people that suppress their desires, and they suppress their needs, and they suppress their passion and their creativity. So to me, feeling whole is honoring my passions and my desires. And then with the whole concept of happiness, I want to know that even through a challenge, I am still grateful and I still have joy. And when I say joy, it's more of an internal gratitude for this human experience. Happiness to me is fleeting. So when I buy a new pair of Louboutins, that makes me happy, but it's kind of this concept of I read something or saw something one day that said you can't feel happy and sad at the same time. It was something of that sort. And I call bullshit, because we are dynamic beings capable of a wide variety of emotions. I'll share a little story with you. It's a personal story. I've never actually said this out loud, but I lost my fur baby, Diva. I've talked about, my grieving process. The day that Diva transitioned over Rainbow Bridge, I actually had the biggest sound healing session, sound bath, of my career thus far. So I had 44 people in a sound bath, and it was a day where I was, so excited, so grateful, so happy. And at the same time, I came home to my fur baby, and I'm not gonna cry. I came home to my fur baby that I love so much, and it was more than just a fur baby. Like, she was like my daughter, like my roll dog, like my, best friend. Like, she was with me usually all the time. I didn't take her with me to the sound bath, obviously, but usually she was with me all of the time. So when someone says you can't be happy and sad at the same time, I call bullshit, because I was experiencing anguish, deep loss and sorrow and grief, and I was still happy and grateful for the largest sound bath thus far of my career. So one doesn't diminish the other. And so I think that sometimes when we talk about emotions and we talk about feelings, we oversimplify. That limits us as human beings. We are dynamic beings capable of a wide variety of emotion. And part of my feeling about abundance is expansion. So when you say, oh, you can't feel happy and sad at the same time, I call bullshit, because we can experience these feelings simultaneously, and obviously our focus can shift from one to the other. But one thing that I do love about Brené Brown is the fact that she is helping us develop more language and understand language and words to try to put verbiage to our complex feelings and emotions. And that's one of the reasons why I love her, because when we have ways to name and explain and communicate how we feel, that deepens connection. So I think that for me, whole embodies more of a state that I want to strive to at all times than just happy. Happy is fleeting. Happy is small. And I found myself recently really honoring how I feel. And when I have a feeling or opinion about something, not feeling like, oh, well, I can't say this because they're going to think I'm not happy, or they're going to think I'm bitter, or I'm anal, or type A, or whatever the case may be. And so I just had to think, like, that's such a limiting perspective, to not feel how you feel, or to not express how you feel, express your needs and desires, because you don't want to be viewed as not being happy. I'm a happy, bubbly person. When I say happy, let me replace that word. When I wake up in the morning, I am a naturally energetic, bubbly person. I don't drink coffee. I wake up bubbly, ready to take on the world, right? And that's my natural state. However, I run a business, and I date, and I have a family. A family can be challenging. Dating damn sure is challenging these days, and running a business is challenging. So when I have a challenge, does that not make me happy? Do you see how limiting happy is? If it's a feeling or showing of pleasure or contentment, fortune or convenient, sometimes running a business isn't convenient. When you work a 10-hour day, is that convenient? No, but does it make you not happy? So I hope that I have articulated my perspective on that. And so this is just me sharing my own vulnerability of getting to know myself on a deeper level. My ultimate goal in life is not to be happy anymore. It's to be whole. It is to really be aware of what I have going on inside of my body, inside of my heart, inside of my soul, and have full acceptance of that and not feel like I can't be this way because we have to be happy. And that's what I think if you didn't listen to the last episode, Episode 172 was talking about how the self-help industry and the law of attraction can cause people to go down a rabbit hole of self-criticism if they're not thinking positive thoughts. And so this is an extension off of that, me really getting to know my thought process and what causes me to judge myself, what causes self-criticism, because I want to shift those thought processes. So me having an ultimate goal of being happy, anytime something happens in life, and all of these things are uncontrollable, because loss is uncontrollable, it's one of those things where we experience it throughout our lifetime, and we sign up for this human experience, like I said in the last episode. So if my ultimate goal is to be happy, and then I have this challenge that takes me out of that contentment or convenient state, then I feel like a failure with my life goal, and I'm setting myself up for disappointment. So I don't want to set that goal of being happy. I want to set a goal of being whole. And to me, that is embracing all of my parts. That is embracing how I feel. And that is still honoring my passions, the things that make me excited, my gratitudes, all of those yummy feelings, combined with the emotional resilience to deal with the challenges that are unavoidable. And, we live in this society of social media where we're just supposed to shine 24/7. And I think that it creates so much pressure. And I think that that's why I've been diving deeper into these topics, because I'm like, I have this pressure of an entrepreneur, a public figure, a podcast host, a sound healer, being a healer. Like, will they feel like I'm a fraud if, I have a day where I'm mad? You know what I mean? Like, we are human beings with a wide range of emotions, and it doesn't make me any less of a healer if I'm mad about something. So society has really programmed us to suppress anything other than love and light. And I think it's bullshit. And that is why I am starting the dialogue on these topics, to know that it doesn't matter if you're a healer, you're going to have moments where you're frustrated. You're going to have moments where you're angry. You're going to have moments where you're not feeling it. You're going to have moments where you are irritated with people. And that's why, again, I love Brené Brown, because she's very raw and transparent about her being an introvert. She gets up on stage and she communicates with people and engages with people, but she's an introvert and she doesn't always like people. And I love that she has the courage and confidence to say that, because it's real. And we live in a time of social media where we're supposed to put our best foot forward and not let anyone see us sweat, like they've taken that, because, I'm a New Yorker. So when I lived in New York, social media wasn't a thing yet, but I was still programmed to never let anyone see you sweat. So you don't let people see that life is hard and things are hard. And then that has morphed into social media. And obviously there are people that share their challenges on social media, but for the most part, people share their highlight reel of a life. And then you get to know them in real life and realize their business isn't what it appears to be. They aren't what they appear to be. Their relationships aren't what they appear to be. And then we're judging them. So let's just be real about who we are, how we feel, what's going on, And I know people say like, oh, more authenticity, but there's so much curated authenticity that I don't even like using that word anymore because it's such a buzzword, and there's so much curated authenticity and curated vulnerability, which I'm going to talk about that on a future episode. So stand by for that one. But it's so important to me to just have that self-awareness and just show up. This is who I am. And as I go through that process, I find that, okay, this is how I feel. I'm going to stand my sacred ground and express how I feel. But then the old part creeps up, and they're like, ooh, I wonder if this person is judging me. I wonder if this person is thinking that I'm not a good sound healer, or I'm not a good entrepreneur, or I'm not as happy as I, seem, like, because we live in that society where we constantly worry about people judging us. And so this is my work that I'm doing right now to get out of that habit. And I have really been peeling the layers back to just show up myself, whether that's happy, bubbly, whether that's particular and detailed. I am a detail-oriented person, and I'm very particular about a lot of things. And it's something that I've always felt like people say I'm high maintenance or type A or anal, whatever, but I'm just owning it. Like, I'm a business owner, and you can tell when a business owner pays attention to detail versus the ones that don't. I gave someone an example about this recently. It's like going to an Applebee's versus going to a 5-star restaurant. Like, they pay attention to presentation and how it looks on a plate, the color of the plate, how the food blends together, little flowers on there to make it pretty. So my attention to detail is what separates me from others. So something that some people may have thought made me high maintenance or difficult is actually one of my superpowers. And it's something that makes me so successful in business. So really just owning who you are and showing up yourself, all of you, all of your parts, the good, the bad, and what society deems as the ugly. And sometimes those ugly parts or those bad parts are actually our superpowers that just may be in the shadow side. Just like yin and yang, we have light and dark. It may just be showing up as the shadow, but if you peel some layers back, it could actually be one of your superpowers. So that feeling of wholeness, whole being all of you, is embodying everything that you are, integrating everything that you are. And that is powerful. That is powerful. When you say happy, that doesn't feel powerful to me. But when you say whole, I literally got chills. Like, that is powerful. I am showing up as all of me, and I don't feel the need to hide any parts of me anymore. That is powerful. Whew, you guys. And just having to me, having that internal joy. So that joy that is gratitude for this human experience. There's a difference in happiness and joy, and just that internal peace. And even when you have challenges, being able to bring yourself back to that place of peace, acceptance, and gratitude for this human experience, as challenging as it may be sometimes. So that is my message for you today. I would absolutely love to hear your feedback and take on this, and share with me what you wanted to be when you grow up. If you asked your inner child, what do you want to be when you grow up? What did you say? And what would you say now? I would absolutely love to hear that from you. You can always reach out to me on Instagram. I'm always on Instagram at Niajae, Niajae. And if you know someone that needs to hear this message, please share this episode with them, because we need to start more conversation like this. And we need to get to know ourselves on a deeper level, so we're not hiding parts of ourselves. Like, I want to see you, all of you, even the parts that you think are unlovable, because that's how we build deeper connections. That is how we truly get to know each other on a deeper level, is when we feel comfortable and confident enough to show someone all of us, even our shadows, even our shadows. Imagine this world if we just went around only seeing people's light. Like, it's not even possible. It's not even possible. So I don't know why we try to do it. I don't know why we try to do it. So I want to see you. I want to see all of you, the good, the bad, and what society may even deem as the ugly, because there's always beauty in those parts. Always beauty in those parts. All right, you guys. Thank you for listening, and thank you for going on this journey with me. It's definitely a beautiful one, and I am feeling more whole with the more that I share vulnerably, the more that I just really own these parts of myself, the more whole I feel. And if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, I'm sure that you can see my transformation and hear my transformation. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for holding this space with me and growing with me. So until next time, be decadent.
Thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. I would love to hear from you. Leave your comments and questions, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our yummy episodes. Every time you leave a 5-star rating or review, I do my happy dance.